Hello, good morning. Morning for us. Who knows what time of day it is for you guys. But David Campbell, Think and Act Locally, here with Mary Davis. She is running for Pasadena Independent School District, position number 1. And we're here to have a conversation. And I'll just throw the floor to you, let you introduce yourself and tell us whatever it is that you'd like us to know.
Thank you, David. And thank you all for watching and your interest in this election. I appreciate that very much. So like you said, I'm Mary Davis. I'm running for school board Pasadena, position 1, and I'll be the first name on the ballot for that position. Election day is Saturday, May 3rd. There are many locations that you can go vote at from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And you can find those locations on harrisvotes.com. So, yes. Did you have some questions, or we just dive right in?
you dive in, and then as I feel comfortable asking questions or whatever, I'll dive in if I have something more specific.
Okay, great. So I'm running for school board because since my kids have been in school in 2020, they started during COVID. I appreciate how my schools helped me in that transition as a parent, sending my little ones off into these buildings where I couldn't even go in. I couldn't see how they were doing, sending them off with their little face covered to strangers. And they would send me pictures. They would communicate with me. And I just made great relationships with them all. And I just want to give back to that. I want to make things better. I want to see where we can improve. I want to just be involved even more than I am now, just because of the great interest I've accumulated over the past 5 years in our district. I volunteer at my school. I go to the parent advisory committee meetings at the school, at the administration buildings, and the school health advisory council meetings. So I try to be in it as much as I can. And this is just another step.
Okay. So there wasn't a deficit with the schools that you sought to try to improve. You're just trying to, as a way to give back, because the schools made you feel good about the school system. So you're trying to give back. That's correct?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm going for, because I feel like our school district is really great. Okay. I don't have any issues with anyone personally or see much of problems that I'm trying to go and fix. Okay. I just want to be an advocate for our families, and especially for our special needs, so they can see, hey, there's someone on there that if we have a problem, we can go to. They're going to understand us. And
special needs. You have kids with special needs? I
have a son. He's 5. He's been in the early education program for 3 years in Pasadena, and just seeing him make little relationships with friends and get close to his teachers and see them care so much for him. Yes, I'm very grateful.
Okay, that's good. So what exactly does the position at the independent school district, like, what do you do? What are your responsibilities? What's your role in the system at large?
Great. That's a good question. So there's a board of 7 individuals who are going to sit there and they vote on issues that are brought up to them. Okay. So you have the right to say yay, you have the right to say nay, and the votes are really going to matter towards what's passed and what's blocked in the school district. Okay.
So the school district, that's over all of Pasadena's schools, the high schools, junior highs, grade schools. How often do you guys meet?
The board meetings? Yeah. So there is one every month, and sometimes they do call special meetings. Okay. So especially in this past few months, they were looking to replace the superintendent who was retiring. So they were having multiple a month. But there's a minimum of once a month that they meet. Okay.
And then the things that you guys are voting on, where do these, I don't know what you even call them. Is it a bill? Is it just what do you call the action items that you guys are voting on, and where do they come from?
I'm not sure the exact term. That's a good question. And I'm going to
Okay.
learn a lot. If elected,
Okay.
I'm going to have a lot of continued education. But these may be just like, hey, can we send, they voted on someone to go, one student to go on a trip for like $6,000. They have to pass that. It can be something as small as just a budget change of $1 and something. They have to vote on that. Or get together and find a new superintendent. They all have to agree on that. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, the schools don't get to do. Is it all based on money then? They don't get to make their own decisions based on money. I guess part of this too, because this will be your first time to serve. If you're elected, you'll learn more.
Exactly.
Kind of on the job training.
Yes.
Okay. So you're happy with the school system as it is. You just are trying to give back and to do what you can to improve the situation.
Yes, and I would like to get down with the budget, learn how they're doing the finances, and how I know they have a lot of experts. I'm not an expert in that, but I'm just curious on how the budget is run and what changes we can make to better that, because there is a deficit. I don't have a big answer for that myself. Okay.
So there's a deficit, meaning that they are spending more money than they are bringing in.
That's what it appears to be.
That's what your understanding is. Okay. And I do have plans to do more videos about, and we will dig into all the different not all of them. Primarily around here, I'm focused on Deer Park. That's where I live. LaPorte and Pasadena. But Pasadena is like twice the size of Deer Park and LaPorte put together. So my primary focus will be Deer Park is where I stay, and my kids are homeschooled, so I don't have to deal with all the school district stuff. But, okay. So they're currently working at a deficit on the budget. They're spending more money than they bring in.
Yeah.
Are you aware of any arguments that people are making about the school district, or what are the primary concerns as you see it for the voters?
So there's a lot of political things going on right now. Things get ugly, and I won't go into all the ugly stuff.
Okay.
Just do your research on the values of each candidate, where they come from, what their goals are, what their main focus is, and pray about it and see what feels right in your heart and vote for that person. We have 4 positions.
Okay.
I'm running for 1. Tammy Nielsen's running for the 2nd. Okay. And we have 2 other incumbents that I voted for 3 and 4. And there's 9 candidates altogether for 4 positions. My position, there's 3 people, and the rest have 2 people who are going for those positions. Okay. And I do have a voter guide. Should I go over that?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So we have a voter guide from the San Jacinto Conservatives. They are a PAC that support conservative individuals who are looking to, have godly values, family values, things like that. And they have endorsed Tammy Nielsen for position 2 and Thomas Shanevine for mayor of Pasadena. Those are the ones who applied. I didn't know in time, applied for the endorsement from this PAC, and they endorsed. But they also have recommendations, and I'll go over the ones that would apply, which I could speak to today. So, like I said, they endorsed Thomas Shanevine for mayor. For District A, for City Council, they have recommended Ruben Villarreal. They have not recommended anyone for B or C. For D, Miss Pat Van Hout. And F, Dolendow. They have 2 that they recommended for District G. Jim Dilly and Paula Velasco. Paula is my friend, and if I was in her district, I would vote for her. She's a good, godly lady, and she is a prayer warrior. For District H, the last one, Robin Davis. So no relation. So that's on the city side of it. For the school district portion of it, they've recommended myself, Mary Davis, and they have endorsed Tammy Nielsen. They have not recommended anyone for the 3rd or 4th position for school board. But Nelda and Casey, they are the incumbents for those positions.
Okay. How often do these votes occur?
That's a great question. So for my position, for 1, 2, 3, and 4, they do a staggered re-election. So these seats are up this year, and then in 2 years, 5, 6, and 7 will be up for re-election. Okay. So this is a 4-year term.
Okay. And so then there's 7 positions for the school board.
And sadly enough, position 7, she passed away, Miss Vicki Morgan, in December.
Okay.
They have not filled that position yet. So once this election takes place, the board will vote on someone. In my understanding, the board will vote for someone to fill that position.
So it'll be an appointed position by the board.
Yes, the position 7. So that's not on the ballot.
Okay. Okay. I will. It's not something for us to do today, but I'm curious where all the different, because each position represents a different part of the city, correct?
No, they're all at large. Let me clarify that. Yes, thank you for saying that. They're all at large. So I don't just help the ones in my area. Like they'll each have.
So everybody gets to vote for each position?
Everybody, yes. Okay. Everybody who lives in the Pasadena ISD jurisdiction.
District. Yeah.
Which, that goes over.
I know Pasadena, everything is all over the city limits.
Right.
Okay. So those 7 positions, then there's 3 positions that will come up in 2 years.
Yes.
So every 2 years there's a vote for school district.
And there's a vote for city, but mayor's 4 years. The city council members have to be reelected every 2 years.
Every 2 years.
Yes.
Okay. I'm not up to date on all the Pasadena stuff, but we'll be doing some videos on this type of stuff. You are of the opinion, though, that the schools are doing good. I actually saw recently that there were some grades that came out for the schools, and I checked out that Pasadena actually has been improving.
Right.
And Deer Park was good, and then I think out of the 3 that I'm most focused on, LaPorte had I don't want to say the worst scores, but
lowest maybe.
Yeah, but the lowest scores or whatever.
Yeah, we got a B rating.
Yeah. But I was also doing some research too that Pasadena, even though they have the highest numbers of enrolled kids, that they have the smallest classroom size, which I was surprised by that.
So I've been very fortunate that even my 3rd grader, I think she might have 14 or 15 kids in her class. My 4th grader has, I think, 18. So you're not seeing like 25 kids to one student, which I'm grateful for. I don't know how that looks money-wise for the district, but I'm happy that they have a little bit more, not one-on-one, but it's less. Yeah,
smaller class sizes. Mm-hmm. There's more attention.
Yes.
1 teacher to 14 kids is... And I think that's what the average was about 14 kids per class.
Right. And physically, our older buildings, like I've subbed, so I've been in many different buildings, met a lot of people, and just, took note in my brain, like, hey, there's a leaking ceiling tile. This teacher has a portable AC and stuff like that. It really hurts my heart. It's like, I don't want them to have to worry about that. I want them to be able to educate, go to work, do their job, and not have to try to fix all these little things. And so I'm like, how can we do better for our teachers, our classrooms, our principals?
Yeah.
How can I change that? I don't have the answer yet.
Right.
We'll have to get in there and study, look at things, and see what we can fix.
Okay. I agree with that. I homeschool, so I have a different outlook on our schools, but I don't have the personal experience because my kids didn't go to school at all. So I will, before I pass judgment, I'm going to be doing some deep dives on our local school systems to see what's what. Are they meeting our needs? Are they not meeting our needs? I know that they have lower than optimal graduation rates. I don't know how well they're serving our kids. And with it, I'll speak generally, But I think many people have low opinions of some of the kids that are being churned out from our schools, and we're not seeing the results that we'd like to see. And I'm not sure that the schools are meeting the needs of our kids. I only have some experience with LaPorte because I have triplet nephews that went to LaPorte, and the experience I had with the school there was very poor. However, my triplet nephews did no favors to the school district. They weren't the best behaved kids. So, but they did end up graduating eventually. And however, I'm not so sure that they should have. But that's a different story. But I believe there's some good arguments to make against the way we do schooling now. Mm. And so we will be diving into that, and it's good to have you as a partner, if elected, I guess.
Sure.
Being on the school board and kind of having an inside track and seeing what's what, and the school systems, they're so entrenched in society today. The way I see it is like they're highly paid babysitters, basically.
With the teachers
themselves? The teachers, yes. That allow the parents then to go to work and do what they need to do, and then they're just watching the kids and, for the most part, making sure they behave. And then we have alternative methods for the kids that are less than behaved. Mm-hmm. But it's a difficult situation that I don't know that the schools are keeping up with society at large and what the society needs for the young people. If you catch what I'm saying. Yeah. Because the work environment has changed. Mm-hmm. We have seen major transitions in the way that the world operates. And this model that we use for educating our kids is an outdated model. And again, I don't want to pass judgment too soon, but I don't think that it's serving our community needs. I don't think it's serving the needs of our kids, mm-hmm. and preparing them for the world that exists. And so that's my 2 cents.
No, that's very valuable. I think that's more than 2 cents worth. That's great.
Yeah.
And you, as a parent who homeschooled, I can understand that you have your values and your thoughts, and that's great.
Yeah.
Was looking at some numbers on our website, and they are claiming 90% graduation rate. But you feel like these people, they're just letting them graduate, just pushing them along.
Yeah, I think that they're graduating kids that shouldn't be graduating. And just because I have the personal experience, I know that the reading and writing skills are less than what one would expect from someone graduating from high school. The math skills as well. I would focus, instead of focusing on some of these other subjects I haven't dove into it yet, so I don't know how, but I think we've gotten away from reading, writing, and arithmetic, and now they're teaching all these other things that are less important. Mm. And even in math, I think they're teaching higher level skills when the kids haven't really mastered the lower level skills. And so then they end up with nothing, a muddled mess when they graduate.
My oldest kid in the district, she's in 4th grade, so I haven't got up to the high school part yet. But my 3rd grader has struggled with reading. She has, but she's improved. But it's not just at the school. You have to bring it home too.
Right.
And that's just part of being a parent, is the homework. And gratefully, we don't have a lot of homework, but when we do, it's our responsibility to be their parent and help along. And there may be some parents who's like, there you go, like they're the babysitter. You drop them off, you go to work, you pick them up from school, and that's...
No, you expect that the schools are educating your kids.
And that's the end of it.
Right.
But no, you have to...
No, it's hard. And even as a homeschool, like my kids, they don't want to do their learning, and it's difficult. Reading is a skill that you acquire by doing it.
Yeah.
You have to do it. It's repetitive. Yes. You have to continue doing it and doing it. It's like anything else. You have to practice at it.
Yes.
And you have to you just have to do it. And the same thing with writing. I don't know how much in the schools now they're doing tablets and laptops versus writing by hand.
Right.
But that's something that I'm forcing my kids to do, is to write, and it's something that they hate doing.
Yeah.
But you have to force them to do it, or they'll never. And again, it just comes down to, everybody hates repetition and practicing.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to do it. Everybody wants to do the easy thing, but you just have to force it and get them to do their writing and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, my fourth grader, she's in GT, but she's got the penmanship of a doctor. I'm like, you have to do, but you have to work on that. That is not good. So I have experience in that part. You have to try.
You just have to do it.
Yep.
And practice. It only gets better by doing it.
Yes.
So, okay. Well, if you don't mind, I'd like to, we will continue this conversation as I do more research on the local school districts and everything.
Yeah.
That's really something that I want to dive into. It's something that I think that is important to the community, or should be. And again, I'm not just focused on Pasadena, but all the surrounding areas.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
But hopefully we can all get an education on, because too often it seems to me that we just we send them off to go, but then we don't know how anything really operates. Even me, I'm sitting here, I don't know even how many positions there are. I don't know what's going on. And, but we'll just have these continued conversations, and we will learn and see what we can do. Ultimately, the whole goal is to improve. We need to get better.
Absolutely. Yes. And there's always room for that.
Right.
Yeah. Even if something is improved, let's see how we can make it better. Let's do that. And I wanted to add before we end this that I am endorsed by the Harris County Republican Party and the Republican Party of Texas. And we had a great PAC here in Pasadena, the Friends of Pasadena ISD.
Okay.
They're a great little conservative group who wanted to promote candidates who have the best in mind for our students. And as a parent and as someone who's been in the school buildings, who's worked with teachers and volunteered, I believe that I meet those qualifications, and I will get the training I need for the job if elected.
Okay.
And I'm excited.
Well, bouncing off of that,
Sure.
I am not politically affiliated.
Okay.
This is not an endorsed or paid promotion. This is just two people sitting down having a conversation.
Yeah.
We actually were introduced by Alan Fowler, Blue Skies Over Autism. So that's the connection that was made here.
Right.
And I don't care, Republican or Democrat. I'm just looking for the best way forward to improve.
That's
Speaking of something else that I have a very low opinion of is the political parties.
Okay.
So I'm only going to think and act locally in this moment. I'm not going to talk about anything more than that. But I think there's plenty of room for us to improve if we can all just put aside blue team, red team kind of stuff. And we just look to, in this particular instance, you're trying to improve the schools. So let's look at the schools. Let's figure out where we stand and do what we can to help improve the situation.
Right. We're not trying to make this like a red district or anything like that. That mentioning those endorsements was just to say, hey, I've been through a process of speaking with people. They've interviewed me. They've talked to me about stuff. Not when you asked earlier, I haven't done a video interview. I've done phone interviews.
Okay.
So just to clarify on that.
That's fine.
And those are people who would support me. But this is for our kids. When we get down to it, this is for them to have a safe experience in education, keeping the perversion out, focusing on them being kids.
Okay.
Let's keep them safe. Let them have be children. Don't give them these ideologies of.
Has that been a thing in Pasadena?
No, thank God, no.
I haven't heard.
No.
That's why we haven't really. I didn't even bring it up until now, but you kind of touched on it. But I haven't heard about any of the things that you hear nationally. Mm-hmm. None of that stuff is an issue in at least Pasadena, as you're saying. I've not heard anything about it in Deer Park or LaPorte.
Good. That's good.
So If you guys know anything different, let me know.
Yeah.
But I don't think that any of those things that you hear nationally on the news have been an issue around here.
Right. And let's keep it that way. And that's
I
my
agree.
goal, is keep that out of our schools. That's not the venue for that.
Yeah, I
So,
agree. Okay, Mary, anything else that you'd like to share?
No, just come out and vote on Saturday,
Okay.
May 3rd. Go to harrisvotes.com, find a location near you that's convenient. Get your family, get your friends, and research the candidates. Research me. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you, David. Appreciate you.
Think and act locally, folks.